Do you feel like your business is running your life instead of the other way around? I'm Roy Castleman. I built multiple seven-figure companies, worked across continents, and coached high-performing entrepreneurs. But I've also been completely burnt out. At one point, I was barely seeing my daughter, drowning in stress, and one step away from walking away from it all. That's when I made a decision to build a business and a life that works for me. The journey became Elevate 360, a system to help business owners reclaim their time, find their energy again, and get back in control, without sacrificing growth. And this podcast, Power Movers, is where I share real stories behind that shift. Each week you'll hear from entrepreneurs, founders, and leaders who've walked through the fire and come out the other side with clarity, courage, and a system that works. If you're ready to build a business that gives you more life instead of taking it away, you're in the right place. I'm here today with my good friend Erik, and what a pleasure it is to have him here. Erik is in Norway, where it's currently all dark, and he is an entrepreneur of some massive skill set. Erik has so many things that he's doing at the moment that I'll try and give it some justice here. Erik has a distillery. He has a glamping place. He has a restaurant. I might say award-winning distillery. He has an island project where he helps young kids, 300 kids, 500 kids, each summer, and so many other projects. So I'll hand over to Erik and just say thank you very much for joining us. And I'm looking forward to diving in and discussing some of these things, but more at this new project, which is quite exciting.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah. So let's just first, maybe you can do a little bit more just to some of those things I've spoken about. I know you were also doing the rewilding program for fish. And yeah, so tell us a little bit about Erik.
I grew up in the late 60s, beginning of the 70s, and I have this very clear mindset about not to be an adult, not to be a grown up,
I love it.
ever. And when we were in Norway, we had just one TV channel, and we have all this influence from America and movies and films and stuff. And the only guys I think was any kind of interesting to become was a Native American riding around at the prairie and doing all this wild stuff. So that was me. And when everyone else was into football or sports, I was more into spending time outside. So my mom told me that from about 2, 3 years of age, it was just to open the door in the morning, and then hopefully the kids came back in the evening. We got a free upbringing in a way,
Yeah.
which was good. And from there on, I played around with a lot of different projects. And at one time, I thought I should become serious and take a good education. And I took some of it, but it's a lot of trial and error. But always look at it as a way of what could possibly go right? What could possibly be a good outcome? And not, I had some which was not so good, but I think it's all about the mindset, and it's about not spending too much time on negative thoughts, because if you are into science, brain science and stuff, and then you dig into this neuroscience and how things works and connected and stuff, then you see that negative things is important for us not to get killed too fast. But at the same time, since negative is so fundamentally, it says that you need 4, 5, 6 positive things to weigh out a negative.
Yeah.
So bringing too much effort on the negative will, that's my opinion, will bring you nowhere.
I agree entirely. So much of my formative life, the entire world tried to bring me down to the negative, and I always
Yeah.
go back to the positive. And it's real skill set trying to avoid all the noise and all the things out there. I don't watch TV. I don't watch the news. Yeah, I just, yeah, what I consume with my eyes, with my ears, that's just so powerful into what I become and my view on the world. Now, we met, yeah, through the Wim Hof method. You're a Wim Hof instructor as well.
Yep,
And
yep.
this is such a powerful method. I think we both got so much out of it. And there's a bit of a story around that in terms of you also had a substantial accident that left you with the world telling you you couldn't. And you said, no, I can. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, it was as I didn't say so much about. I've been working with a lot of great projects over the years. I restored five old buildings at a deserted island, made
Mhm.
a gourmet hotel, small one, getting high-end customers from all over the world coming in their private choppers and things. Actually, it was owned by the city, but they didn't care until the crown princess came. And when she wanted it, of course, it was a little bit of turmoil there because I didn't want to give it to her. But then, okay. And I worked with projects that people said, ah, this is not going to be a good project. And that was the stand-up paddleboards. And I
Right.
said, you guys, that was in 2006. You guys, you're all wrong. You don't understand it. You don't have perspectives or you don't have some visions. And then, of course, in 2000 and which it was 11 to 10, 11, I had a big car accident. So I was run over by a car. I was on my bike on the pavement. I was the side of the road, so everything should be safe, but the car managed to hit me quite hard. So I got some really chronic pain. A lot of things was broken. And then I got a permanent injury, which gives me a lot of headaches, nausea, difficult to concentrate, and eats up your energy. And I was laying around at the sofa. The medical guys said I was like 70% disabled and I could be treated with painkillers.
Standard, huh?
And then I knew that, okay, if I'm going that way, I'm going to be a drug addict really, real soon
Yep.
and feeling sorry for myself and laying around. And then kids would keep a distance. My wife would move out. My house would be sold. Things would not go as planned. So I thought, okay, I have to do something. So actually, I was searching the internet and I found a program at the Danish Department of Health, Science and Health. And I went on that, and they had a lot of focusing on meditational practices, very much of this mindfulness focus, how to help to kind of rewire your the way you feel about pain
Mhm.
and how your brain actually perceives pain and how you can change the outcome
Right.
with training for not 1 week, but actually a couple of years. So after about 2 years doing that, and things got really well and had continued to do that, I also was looking into the breathing and a little bit too cold. I found Wim Hof and the guys, and then I joined in. And the first kind of instructor event thing we had up in the mountains in Poland, it was fucking cold.
Wild and cold.
And the funny thing was that we teamed up with other guys. And the other guy, he was a guy from, I think it was from some desert area in America. And he was really skinny. So when things started to get really cold, I have to give him all my down gear, everything I packed to keep warm. And I would say that after the third dip, that one day,
Yeah.
and we have to just be in the woods to keep warm in wet shorts and nothing else, snow. And after the third times in the water, and I think every time we went in the water, it was like something between 8 and 10 minutes because you go out and all the others come out and then you go in again. Then, and I have to say, I thought my balls would just break.
For sure. Yeah.
I thought it just shattered like glass. And oh, Jesus. But we went through it and kept on doing a lot of breathing exercises, mental practices, and yeah, ran just full speed ahead.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's so amazing the power of the body and the mind that we are not aware of. I always say I was 49 years old when I learned how to breathe. And it just astounds me to this day that we don't teach this in schools. We don't teach this to youngsters. We don't. There's so much resistance to these things that are essentially free, that are our birthright, that we can hold as free, especially in Norway, right? Especially.
Yeah, I made I have this couple of different schools I have been working with, joining in, just doing. And I asked them because I worked with a lot of troubled kids before. And then I said, okay, can I design a program for you guys? And we did. And now the headmaster is now asking if we could do it again. And one funny thing was that they have, of course, every school has this one or two kids that everyone hates and everyone gets sick if they have to work with them and blah, blah, blah. The funny thing is that I don't understand why people are not prepared.
Yeah,
If you know that your partner is totally out of it when it comes to certain things,
yeah,
you can be very irritated, angry, and you can keep on doing that for a century. And maybe it's not going to happen anything. And it's not going to change. And every time you are tired because he or she, "Ah, I'm getting exhausted because you don't, blah, 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 blah." And but after a couple of while, a couple of times, you should expect that this is how it is. He's not able, she's not able, this is not going to happen. So why do I expect something that's not going to happen? It's going
yeah,
to tear you down, eats your energy, and it takes away all the kindness and love and all the things. You get angry. And I
yeah,
just said, fuck it.
yeah,
That's totally waste of energy.
yep,
It will never bring you forward. And I think that's a lot of the things that I work with doing my projects. Use your energy wisely, not think about, should I do this? Should I do this? But when I do stuff, for me, after we went to these courses, learning breathing, I did a lot of mental practices and got back in shape or kind of sort of mental shape. And then I think so many people are wasting time and energy in things that doesn't matter.
yeah. Agreed.
Think about worrying, to be worried about something. It's not going to help you anywhere. It's not going to change the outcome. It's not going to
Yep,
do anything good for you. So I think I spend, that doesn't mean I don't care, but I just spend more energy on what things could become.
this.
And I think my projects are going full speed ahead because I only spend, or I'm guess I'm trained more in this, but I spend my energy on things that kind of work better. I don't look back and say, oh, I don't, I try to not do the same mistakes again and again, but at the same time, to use this breathing, to use the cold, to use mental practices, and to have a positive mindset, that will bring you a lot of the things you want.
Yeah. I love this. I love the concept of energy because we do spend our energy incorrectly. I know if I get up in the morning, I do my morning routine properly, I have
Yeah,
more energy for the day. And what the breathing does for me is it actually clears off the emotional baggage from the day before.
yeah,
So it does that. What the ice does for me, it actually gives me a real boost of energy. It gives me the dopamine that I need. It makes me see that I can do a difficult thing because every day it's still
yeah,
difficult. Every time I get in the
yeah,
ice, it's still difficult.
yeah,
The meditation helps me with just opening up to what's actually really what I'm struggling with that day. So having this means that I can focus the energy for today on today. And when I focus the energy for today on today, I don't give the energy away to tomorrow worrying about things that
No,
haven't
no.
happened yet. And I don't give it away to yesterday being depressed about things I can't change anymore. I just focus on today. The outcome is so much better. You know,
And that's why I think I've done, or I still am involved in quite a lot of projects. Today I come from it's about 100 kilometers away in a city where a river when we're working on trying to restore it. And then there's a couple of guys who want to, and there's always this one guy who don't want to. And then you, and then I try to find a middle way. But I have about 15 years ago, I was looking into this. I thought that kids were inactive and not so capable. And since my kids have been out at the islands, learning stuff from early age, into skiing, climbing, whatever, even my daughter, she's now 30, she said, Dad, you learned us too much. The only thing I don't know how to do is welding. That's the only thing I don't know. But all the kids I made, all the guys, they
yeah,
can't do anything. They don't know anything about how to make this and how to do and how to carpentry and whatever. And then you learn us everything. Well, I thought, I love it. I think it's great. But I thought all these kids that should learn more. They should be more capable.
yeah,
And then I made the island project, the Kid Island project. And everyone said, oh, it's not going to be a good thing. And I said, maybe. And then so I want to do this as a special social entrepreneurship. And at that time, everyone thought that social entrepreneurship was about applying for fund from the government. And I said, it's not about that. It's to run a balanced business when you get the rich people to pay for the poor ones. And then you use your energy in a good way so that everyone is quite
yeah,
happy. So what I did was I presented it as the Kid Island was a summer concept, 5 days a week at daytime. And I didn't sell it as a summer camp. I sold it so that parents that have to work can have a good conscience.
yeah. Good plan. Yeah,
Yeah. So I sell good conscience. I'm the good guy. So I'm selling them great stuff for the kids so that they can stay at work and the kids could come home totally exhausted, having the greatest days of their lives, and everything was good.
and their
So
parents must love you for that.
they do, they do. And the thing is that I only sell 80% of the spots,
Yeah,
and that covers the whole thing. And there
yeah,
is 20% of the restoring spots are given away, not to announced poor people, but together with schools and social teachers and others in the area, they find the kids that need it.
yeah, yeah,
So everyone gets a ticket. So now when they come together the first day, they are just in a, what should I say, a life vest and shorts. No phones are allowed, and everyone is just equal. So if you're a millionaire kid from this area of the city, or you are totally the opposite from the other, no one cares. So I put that together. And then we also have this other project because in Norway, it's if you are in foster care,
right.
you're a foster kid, your foster parents can, they have the right to have a couple of weeks of vacation
Yeah,
from you. So if you're 16, live in foster care, life is not great, and then your foster family said, "Oh, we are going to send you somewhere because we want to have vacation from you." That's not a good thing. So instead, I said, we make a special summer job. We incorporate these kids into our team of people who work. We make them assistants. We put them into course and training before, and then said, you guys, since you live so far ahead, then when you're working with us, you have to live on the island. So then we
yeah,
don't have any problems with being sent away or some shitty place that you hate, but you're getting a job, you're working together with great people, you're getting full salary, and you get references, and you get everything. So
wow.
lift them up. And the
Yeah,
thing is that this is not hard. This is effing easy to do. Just if you want to be a little bit, show a little bit of kindness, be a little bit flexible, works like a dream.
I'm going to say something because it's not hard for you, Eric, and this is the joy of the entrepreneurial spirit, right? Yeah, what one thing I've learned is that when I see things as easy, yeah, and then I just have this total, why can't everybody just do this? Because there isn't the vision, because there isn't the drive, because there isn't the tenacity that's required to make it work. Once you have this vision, you need to push forward. And I'm gonna change now slightly because we can talk literally for hours about all the projects that you've got. I want to come back to the the feeling that you have, the understanding that you have about nature and our connection to nature, which the modern world is really not giving us correctly. Because I'm really inspired by your future project of taking people that are high performing business owners, that are owning companies, that are stuck in a job that's really taking a lot of their time and energy, and they don't see, to use a phrase, the wood for the trees.
Yeah.
And you have so much experience with the kids. You've had so much experience with other people as well through the Wim Hof method and bringing people together and just showing them the power of nature. So let's talk to that for a bit.
Yeah. As I went in the woods from early age and then hopefully came out in a way. But for me, one day where I'm not outside a couple of hours is a badly spent day. I have, I think, from early age, this kind of some kind of link that says to me a little bit unconsciously that get the fuck outside. And I have been taking or been asked a lot of times to bring clients out, and people have come from all over the world, and now I'm trying to make a little bit more systematic. But the thing is that everything is energy, everything is vibrations. And then if you spend too much time inside, I think the energy becomes less vibrant and more kind of dead, not giving you, it's not keeping the momentum. And I see that amount many times when people know more about their mobile phone than they do about their body or brain.
Yeah, agreed.
And then we know after scientists have tested and we see on the YouTube and Facebook that everything is energy. We see that special devices put on tree give sounds or flowers. We
Yeah,
see that a bumblebee would, the flowers that the bumblebee gets their nectar has had one positive and one negative way of signaling. So when it's full, it has one signal, and
yeah.
then when it's empty, it's got another one. But most people don't pay attention. So they look always for something else.
It's always searching for the solution, but never looking inside.
Yeah, and then I think for me, it's when I just put some electrical, sometimes devices on people, and I say that, okay, if you're on your feet, walking on concrete floors with your sneakers every day, you are getting bad electrical energies are piling up.
Yeah.
So only to go a few minutes outside on the lawn every day would neutralize. That will give you way better energy. We know that everything around us is alive, and to go outside and be able to sit down there and then just think that now, sometimes people have asked me, oh, so what you got to do today? And I
Yeah.
said, oh, I'm going to concentrate on doing absolutely nothing.
Yep. Yeah.
And the funny thing, my mountain project, from the old saying, all the stories and so on, the story said that my farm, little farm up there, that it was described for 700 years as being the gateway between the worlds.
Okay.
And then I don't know if this is true, but it's like when I'm sitting there by the river and just trying to be, it's always something in the corner of the eye. Not a
Right.
negative thing, but it's something. It feels some kind of energy. It's some kind of, I don't get it right, but it's good stuff. But it's when you pay more attention to the things around you, I think you get more aligned with yourself. You get more happy. You are more relaxed. I went to the doctor last week. I try to go once a year. Haven't been there for 10 years. Haven't had the time.
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah. But, and then he said, oh, blood pressure, perfect. No medication, no. And you're almost 60, yeah. And then your pulse is 50, yeah. How's that possible? And I said, how is it possible that everyone else got sickness, eating
Yeah.
pills, and doing all that shit? Everyone should be like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think to be outside, to grasp the nature, to don't always look at the time, so you actually go out at night, see the stars, feel the wind, especially in the spring when all the flowers come, you smell it, and you step outside, and sometimes even your comfort zone. And then I think you get from feel that it's more rich,
Yeah.
and you don't focus so much about everything that's not okay. Because it was like when I had my accident, or it wasn't an accident, it was a guy driving fucking over me. So, or I don't think he'd done it on purpose, but it was not me doing something. But what happened is that, okay, I had to leave my work. I had to say goodbye to a lot of stuff. I had to sell my house in the Pyrenees, which I made from an old winery, and I had to let go. But it's sometimes you just to get away instead of thinking about all that and think about what's unjust and shouldn't be and unfortunate. It's just come outside and be present.
Can I ask you something? With that accident, I had my big accident as well, where I was run over by a drunken driver. And I honestly see that accident as one of the best things that happened to me in my life.
Yeah,
Yeah. It just allowed me to live in the moment. It allowed me to do everything I wanted to do instead of putting it off to tomorrow. It
yep,
allowed me to appreciate that the worst possible thing you can die with is regret for things you haven't done.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And I think that I think life it's full of opportunities.
Yeah.
And the thing also is that my mountain project, it's if I were to ask my parents or my brothers or other in a family, I would say what could possibly go wrong, and they would mention a lot of stuff.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
But then if I say what could possibly go the right way then, and they don't know so much. And the thing was that we rebuilt or we restored an old mountain farm, which no one cared about for 50 or 60 or 70 years. And now I think it's the most, at least in the Norway sense, it's the most rewarded place, both from UK and other countries. We took a lot of things that people consider as a weed. They
Yeah.
want to put poison on it and get rid of it. And we put those things doing special processes and we deliver it to the Norwegian meal, which is a huge competition, which is every second year.
Yeah.
And it's like a Norwegian Oscars into food and drinks.
Yeah.
And we won
Yeah.
first try.
Amazing.
And I made gin. Never done it before. And of course, I would training and courses and stuff. And then we have a silver medal in London this year, which is a good start, I would say.
Yeah. That's
And then
a very good start.
yeah, and one late evening for about 5 years ago, very late evening, alcohol was involved. And next morning, my friend called and said, did we buy a hotel last night? And
Ah,
and I said, no, we didn't buy the hotel, but we decided that we should build a distillery. And that was 4 or 5 years ago. And now we have these two big wooden buildings, the one log buildings. One of them is from the 16th century, which contains the distillery, 17-meter long, 8-meter high, and yeah, we put it together. And then we have another one which we haven't finished yet. But now we have a working distillery. And then I'm going up this weekend and making a great batch, which I want to try to sell for the Norwegian market next year.
Yeah.
And we just play around. And
I
sometimes,
think, yeah, I think that it's so important that people hear you and hear your stories because the inspiration for everybody here is if you bring the right positive energy into your company. We
yeah,
go out in the world as entrepreneurs and we see a problem in the world and we
yeah,
try and fix that problem. Yeah, and
yeah,
that's what drives us. That's what gives us energy to push us forward. And as you, yeah, you show us and you demonstrate in what you do, yeah, each thing that you've been passionate about, if you just bring the right energy, if you just bring this commitment to understanding that things aren't always going to go well, and that's fine because
yeah,
that's the nature of how we learn, right? We don't learn if they go all the time. You can't learn this stuff in books. You've got to go out and try it. You've got to be not sitting there regretting. If only I had that idea 5 years ago, and now somebody's making millions. And it's not because of
yeah,
the idea. It's because they decided to step and go. They decided to get
yeah.
off their
And
rear
then
ends and go and try and be prepared to fail a little bit and be prepared to learn and be prepared to understand their own power.
it was like a couple of weeks ago, that was funny. I was asked by a bunch of guys, to have like some inspirational talk.
Yep.
And I did. I said, oh, sure, could do that. And then it was in a church. And no worries about that. I grew up with a very kind of Christianity all around and stuff. But and then I started to talk about inspiration and everything. And then I said a lot of the time it's about paying attention. And I told about I was 18, 19, went to America, everyone California, and then all the money ran out. And then I said, then I got a job. And I said,
Yep.
Jesus, how did you get the job? And I said, I put an ad in Los Angeles Times telling about a 18-year-old Norwegian with driver's license could do be a handy guy. And I got about 85 answers, 84 from single wives or single mothers.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, maybe not. And then this last one from a lawyer, and he used to be the lawyer for the family Marcos on the Philippines, so he was loaded. And he wanted a little bit of rock and roll. So when I sat in his big Rolls Royce, and he said, "Here's the keys, jump in," and I was like 18, what the fuck would I do? And then the test actually was I was driving down 101 alongside Malibu with he and the other guys in the back seat, and it said, okay, now the final test comes. And the test was if I could roll them joints by driving this car like to the guys in the back seat.
Oh, amazing.
And I was, okay, I did that. I could do everything. And I worked there for about 6 months. There was a lot of crazy things happening. And then I thought, oh, maybe not too much of this. But I think it's about paying attention. I introduced bungee jumping to Norway, or I guess I was the first in Scandinavia. And it was just because a friend of mine showed me pictures that was from somewhere outside Australia, somewhere out on some of the islands, when some of these
Yeah.
locals were jumping off the platforms and doing this. And I said, we can do that. And then I put together some gear. I did a lot of climbing before. And we found a bridge, jump off, worked pretty well, a little bit thin. I guess my body got 2 centimeters longer. And then after getting adjusted, and then next week, 100 people was on the bridge wanting to jump.
Wow.
And then I thought, then we got to rearrange. So within the next week, I was going from jumping off a bridge for about £5
Yeah.
to this late 80s, beginning of the 90s, late 80s. So I going from £5 to jumping off a bridge to 50 pounds jumping off a mobile crane. And we made the concept not like an Ike, which said, just do it. We have
Yeah.
big t-shirts, but I just did it.
Yeah. Cool.
And the business was all over Norway. Have never earned so much money on such short time ever.
Yeah.
And it was a kind of people where it was about this sensation, it was this feeling, it was this solution of something, all this comfort and everything, and they want to challenge, but at the same time they want to feel safe. It wasn't that safe, but okay, that was. But
Yeah.
I think what we do as entrepreneurs, we gives good solutions, and
Yeah.
if the solution is so good that you actually feel almost a chill, or you get this, yes, this is it, then you have a great product. But
Yeah.
you don't get to that point without training.
Yeah.
And I think people forget to train, they forget to test, they forget to develop. They are entrepreneurs. We have a product that we think is great. So everyone else in the whole world should also think it's great. But it's not the greatest product that wins. It's
Yeah.
the guys that communicate the best. So that was
100%.
why eh, when everyone told me that the kid project was not a good thing, and I said, look about that. We'll have a look and see who's right or wrong. And also up in the mountains, we went for a fairly not so good concept. And we'd done this before, also at the island. Before we had to stay one night at our places up in the mountains, that was like £100 something a
Okay.
night, about. Now the prices, a lot of people do book, come in, and they pay as a starting fee, pay about €400 a night.
Yeah.
And then food and drinks is extra.
But
But
you've
sometime
taken
I,
it you've taken it on a journey, right? You have an initial concept. You put the concept out there. You,
yeah,
in order for you to understand it works, you go through that process of learning. You then understand
yeah,
how you can make it better and how you can make it better and how the whole thing can appeal to the audience
yeah,
you're appealing to. And you get to a balance point.
yeah,
And I see you, that will probably become, I mean, you've just had two big articles and big reporters coming across. And yeah, I see that going up to the thousand pound a night kind of place, or whatever. There's this connection coming as we go into this AI era, and we'll talk a little bit about that before we
yeah,
close. We go into this AI era, and the biggest single pain point I have with AI is that it doesn't. People aren't looking at it as a way to give them time back and to be more human, to get out into nature, to go and do the things they love to do. This is what it should be
yeah,
about. We've come up through this
yeah,
entire evolution of where we are, and now we have something that can give
yeah,
us 5, 6, 7 hours back a day. Yeah, and then we don't want to
yeah.
use that to do the same thing again. Excuse me. We want to
But
use that
it was like
to free us.
sometimes I have a little bit extra time, and then I write some articles for the
Yeah.
newspaper.
Hmm.
And I write about things that I think about or evaluate a little bit. And then I had an article I sent on Sunday, which came into the biggest regional newspaper today, this morning. I didn't know, but I just sent him in. I said, maybe this is something. And then they said, great story. And then I wrote about sustainability
Yeah.
because I think that most companies and people are more interested in the badge of sustainability than actually do sustainable things.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And they use 99% of all the money on concepts that makes them maybe a little bit more less pollution, maybe a little bit, but no actual impact.
Yeah.
And then I also said, you guys, do you actually believe that the UN sustainability and all the science and measurement, do you believe in it? Do you think it's true? And every businessman say, oh yeah, I would think so. And then I say, so how can you guys still run after a uncontrolled growth. When UN says that your country has used up all your energy or resources long before the year is gone. And you
Yeah.
still talk about growth. You still talk about more and more. Maybe you should actually do what you say you believe in, try to make a more balanced way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if everyone is asking for more salary, everything is going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
If everyone starts to say, we actually are fine, it's okay, and then you can have a little bit less pressure on economics. You can have more time to say, but actually now we are 75% more productive than maybe we were, I don't know, in the 70s or 80s or whatever, when we have to use the typewriter and everything. And then maybe you can take half your time together with your family. Maybe you can get to know your kids.
Yeah.
Maybe you still can think your wife is great, not just by a nagging bitch or anything. Maybe you can lower your shoulders, not getting so many kind of illnesses and sickness and stressed out. Maybe you don't have to pay for all these hours at the therapist.
Yeah.
Maybe you can just go to Norway instead.
Amazing. Amazing.
So,
And as I say, I've been to Norway a lot of times now. I love the general approach. I love the way that everybody's got a little shed out in the countryside that they go to. And there's a real, that we, as a society, we can learn a lot from Norway. And as an entrepreneur society, I think we can learn so much more from the method that you're bringing into this, and this concept of connecting you back with nature so that you can get away from the stress and so that you can actually learn a bit more about yourself. So I want to just end this by asking you to give an idea. We're still formulating, we're still going through the initial stages. You've done a lot of this with people already, but give an idea of what your future project for this is going to look like.
I'm building a system that's a 12 months program,
Hmm.
slowly progressing, ending in a trip to Norway. I'm now working on with two companies in the Netherlands, big businesses, on week incentive trips for teams.
Yeah.
And we are, I'm calling it Into the Wild or the Beach Mountain concept, or we're working on titles on that. But it's a little bit of getting out in different environments and have some very nice exotic challenges. In the island where I have a rowing boat, which it's not a Viking ship, but it takes 14 people.
Wow.
And some years ago, we went all the way to Oslo in that boat. And you
Uh,
can easily do a mountain crossing to Denmark, but I don't think most people have challenges with rowing in tune. So we keep it, or we have this deserted lighthouse, which says to be spooks out there or ghosts and
yeah.
stuff. So it's a little bit exotic, but it's all the way as far out in the ocean that you can. So we go out there for a day or two. I put them with wetsuits on. We pick our own food with oysters and big crabs. Go back on shore, up in the mountains, have some luxury, and then into the mountains again with more kind of off-grid, no cell phone coverage, making everything from the ground up. You're not getting matches. You have to learn how to do without.
Wow.
And you have to put up a tent, working a team. You have to skin your fish, which is from the lake, if you're lucky. And then,
If you caught one, yeah.
I want to challenge people in a way which also challenged their feelings a bit and more on a fundamental area
Yeah.
and get them a little bit more connected to themselves. So reconnections from every day and mobile phones and all that stress, and then taking them down to what nature is and take them off the path And then my plan is to have a 1 year concept where you every month get small tasks which are not so difficult. It's like there's a lot of people in the world who have been eating everything they should to become ill
Yeah.
or fat or out of tune or things like that. So the thing to make a real change, you have to do changes on several levels. It's not if you're a troubled kid and they send you to the shrink and maybe you have all these troubles because you don't have good eating patterns, you don't sleep well, you don't have good people taking care of you, but they want the shrink to talk you into to wellness.
Yeah.
But I think we need another approach where we actually doing something for your brain, we're doing something for your body, we prepare you, and that's what Wim Hof has done with the cold, kind of learning techniques to prepare you for challenges.
Yeah.
And then when you are prepared, you can do the challenges in a good way and grow.
Yeah.
And that's what I would like to. And then, of course, I would like people to, like to show them Norway and all these beautiful places and also get connected. I have had a little program on my free time, one afternoon a month for men, and that's only for men. It's not for ladies. And we said this is just for guys, and a lot of guys are feeling troubled. They feel alone. They feel outside society. In Norway, the highest death rate, people taking their own life, is among men.
Yeah. Well, I
So,
think worldwide, it's a
so
suicide amongst men
so
is
this
yeah,
society, even if we love women and say women, blah, 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 the thing is that it's not in tune, it's not balanced.
yeah,
So what I'm trying to do, and now I'm trying out my theories and my methods on groups of guys. And
amazing.
I do it as once a month, and we have men's health, which I talk to them. We had the last Monday, we had everyday gourmet.
Yeah,
And all these guys, this is the ingredient. Jesus, the only thing I can make is cook water and make a sausage. This is it. And then, yeah, where's the recipe? We don't have one. Where's this? Oh, we don't. You have to work in team. And I think challenge people, then you grow.
yeah, 100%. So what an amazing concept! What an
So,
amazing way forward. I think we're definitely going to have you back on here as we go through this journey of building out this new entrepreneurial journey for you.
thank you.
What does that look like? So how can people get hold of you? What's the best way to get hold of you? And I'll put the contact details for you below as well.
Oh, I have an email which I sent you, and then and just send me a mail, and then I respond fairly quickly if I'm not outside or in our distillery at the moment making gin. Actually, for
Oh,
next year, we have this project with a sail ship that only goes in the Arctics. So
wow.
we need a big barrel which is going to be shipped out to that ship and just sail in the Arctics for a year before we're getting it back. So think of it's about being open. If you are open, if you're relaxed, the world comes to you.
100%. Erik, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and we'll speak again soon.
Thank you very much, Roy.
Thanks for listening to Power Movers, the podcast from All the Power, where our mission is to help business owners reclaim their time, reset their energy, and live the life they love. If this episode sparked something for you, your next step is simple. Take the fit check at allthepower.co.uk. It's a short clarity tool that helps you see where you are, what's getting in the way, and what might be possible if you have the right system. When you're ready, come and join the tribe. Power Movers start with our signature framework called Elevate 360, a system built to help you escape survival mode, create structure, and move forward with power. Just remember, everything we share here is based on real stories, experience, and frameworks. It's not personal business advice. Always speak to a coach or advisor before making big decisions. Because in the end, it's about more than business. It's about building a life that you actually love. I'm Roy Castleman, and I'll see you in the next episode.